Welcome to the Desk Bound Therapy Podcast, hosted by David London. David is a posture and mobility expert, yoga teacher, and certified online trainer. This podcast is about empowering desk-bound professionals, how to live their healthiest life, and move pain-free. Now, let's dive into this episode.
What up, guys? Welcome back to episode 43 of the Desk Bound Therapy Podcast. I'm your host, David London. And as always, it's a pleasure to have you tuning into the show. And I appreciate all the support and all the messages I've been getting the last week as we've launched season 2. So thanks so much for the kind words and the support. It truly means the world to me. In today's solo episode, I'm going to be talking about, unconventional ways to train, to do fitness. I'm going to challenge your perspective on how you view the different ways we can move the body more beyond yoga, beyond gym exercises. I really want you to think about the movements you're doing and really, get into understanding, is it really functional what you're doing? Is this really going to help you move better and stay, with good posture and move pain-free for long term? Or is what you're doing really not functional at all? So, this was inspired by a conversation I had earlier with Dr. Ryan DeBell from the Movement Fix. And it really got me thinking as I've been exploring, different training options, trying to determine, is training for sports the most functional for my lifestyle? Or is calisthenics the most functional for my lifestyle? Or is, bodybuilding, a mix of functional bodybuilding, the best for my lifestyle? And while that may depend on my lifestyle versus your lifestyle, versus what we individually deem as functional, I feel like the big thing to understand here is, take a second. Like, if you follow the traditional bro split at the gym and you're a desk bound lifter, really think about it. When you're bench pressing, is that really truly a functional movement? When in real life do we ever lie on our back with our arms in front of us and our knees flexed to 90 degrees and an arch in our back? Like, yes, I love the bench press and it's a great movement for, developing pushing power. Just think for a second, how is this going to benefit you on your pursuits of training pain-free, improving your posture and moving better? Yes, it might help you move in that plane and you might get better at that specific movement. But where in your life is that going to help you really, improve your performance? Just move better. Like, instead of saying, no, you shouldn't do this, let's try to, think of different alternatives that would be more functional. For example, if you were to just take your feet, put them on the bench or do an L-sit bench press, you instantly make that movement 10 times more functional because, we're not ever doing bench press from a back bend. So I think, if we want to move functional, we want to move pain-free, we have to look beyond the norms of how we train things. The same thing too, like incline press is a lot more functional position because we're seated upright. Even a shoulder press is a little bit more functional, but beyond that, there's so many different more functional ways. Like a standing barbell press is great, but how about we do, a half kneeling single arm kettlebell press where we challenge our core in a lunge position? That's a lot more functional for everyday life. Or let's do a landmine press because we're never in real life pressing 100% in that overhead position. We're really working within, the 100, 160, maybe even 120 mid-range position. So, it's not wrong to build strength in that full range of motion, but, as we work in fuller range of motions, and if you don't have the proper mobility there, then you are at risk of further injury. So I really think, like there's so many ways to do a specific exercise now that we're onto the shoulder press. And the main thing here is trying to really be critical of the exercises you're doing in the gym and ask yourself why. Like, there's seated shoulder press, standing shoulder press, single arm. But like the two I mentioned are really functional. Like seated or standing is a lot better than definitely lying on your back. And even if you were to do a floor chest press, that's going to be a lot more functional than a bench press because, you're lying on your back, yes, but your knees are, in a 90-degree position, which is going to help you kind of build strength in the positions we are in day to day. And obviously, there's going to be, individual variations to that, but there's nothing like the old school push-up. They say it is the king of exercises because it always has been functional. And that's a position, you can really strengthen to improve your posture. Like if you do push-ups and your hips are dropping, shoulders are rounding, then that's an opportunity to get better movement. That's inherently going to get you, to have improved posture. There's a lot of exercises too in the gym that aren't really translated to real life, but I just want you to, take a second there and be like, oh, next time you're there, David told me that, to really be critical of the exercises I'm doing because, if we want to move well, we have to move beyond, a lot of what we do in the gym is forwards and backwards, and people do push, pull, legs, squat, deadlifts. Like that's pretty common for people, plus some cardio. But there's so many other functional movements we're missing, right? Like our body and our spine do so many movements more than just those four positions. And I feel like they're a little bit overgeneralized and people aren't training, side to side movements, plyometric movements enough. We really want to build a body that's designed to move well and look good and perform well, and not just, perform well at the gym, but perform well in everyday life. Like I aspire to be someone who can, train well in the gym and then go do any sport or any activity without really, putting myself at risk for injury or worried if I'm able to do that movement. So, think about it, our spine will flex and extend. And we often train in the neutral position, which is great. It's safest for the spine. But even let's say in terms of body weight, like very, infrequently do I see people, training their spinal flexion, doing Jefferson curls, doing forward fold crunches. Rarely do I ever at the gym see people doing back bends or, any form of bridging exercise. You see some glute bridges performed incorrectly, but really let's,
Hi, my name is Rene Diaz and I am a software developer, which means I have a very sedentary 9 to 5 work routine. So we did the assessment. David helped me out, assess my mobility, my posture, and he prepared a work routine for me, like several different workouts, workout 4 to 5 times a week. It turned out to be a great result in the end. Like mobility was definitely the biggest takeout for me in this process. Once I started doing the mobility routines with David, everything started to click and my shoulders began to sit better. Rotator cuff movers started to fix. Everything started to feel a lot better when doing overhead movements. Pull-up strength improved a lot and without pain, because that was an issue that I was experiencing. So I had a lot of pain in my back whenever like working up my my upper body. So yeah, I mean, the biggest takeout from me from this process was the mobility work that David prepared for me, and this is something that I will definitely take forward in like as I continue to work out. So if any of you are feeling in pain, or are you training through pain, I strongly recommend you get in touch with David, and like he's a great resource for guys who will prepare tailor-made routines for you and will be able to assess personally what is the problem in your specific case. So if you're a lifter or you have a 9 to 5 that involves a lot of sitting, I strongly recommend hitting him up so he can prepare something for you and keep your posture and your body working well. Thank you.
There's a reason why gymnasts are in such great shape. It's because they train these positions. And I feel like the everyday person should, even like lateral flexion. Like how often do we train our core, moving in that lateral plane, or do we train our core through, rotational movements? Like these are all things our spine are designed to do. But if we just limit ourselves to, squat, bench, deadlift, push, pull, legs in the gym, then we're really limiting our potential for movement. And we limit our potential for movement, we limit our potential for strength. The more movement, the more mobility and flexibility you have, the greater your potential for strength. So let's stop, training like a bro in the gym. Let's start training like a desk bound therapy athlete. Let's focus on your mobility. Let's good at those key movements, the squat, the deadlift, the hip hinge. Those are great, but let's expand our movement vocabulary. I want to see you guys starting to work on some back bend progressions, some forward fold progressions. I want to see you guys even working towards your splits flexibility. Like let's focus on getting the body moving first, building strength in those ranges of motion. And then, we can focus on, building muscle on the proper foundation. But that's what I tell all the guys in my program. I really want us to have a strong foundation before we're loading with huge, crazy weights. Like you don't build a house on, a broken foundation. Let's build yourself up. Let's get you moving better in these positions. And then that's going to help with so much in your everyday life. Like I really find like it's pretty cool that, I've isolated, the forward fold, the back bend, even like a deep side body, stretch is a really good movement. Like you can do like grab a band and do side body kind of, have crunches and stuff like that, really working the lateral plane, working more obliques, try to, some pull-off presses, some vertical presses with a resistance band, really challenge your core in different positions too. And, that's not limited to, even working on your balance, guys. Balance is huge. And a lot of the stuff, we're seated throughout the day, the body gets stiff. And when do we ever really train our balance? Yes, you might do single leg squats or deadlifts, but really spending dedicated time to training your balance, training your proprioception, your body awareness is going to help with your mobility. It's going to help with your training overall, because of what it's going to do. It's going to help build more stability in your joints and help you prevent injuries down the road. For example, like something I'm doing later today is I'm doing kettlebell shoulder presses with the thing upside down. And I'm going to slowly come up. It's really going to strengthen and challenge my rotator cuff muscles. And, while these, unconventional exercises might not yield the biggest, gains in terms of muscle mass, I'm really focused on moving well. And, and then those things will come as a byproduct, right? If I can, have a strong rotator cuff and eventually slowly over time, months after months, increase, the weight on my exercises, then I am going to progressively overload. So let's really look into different, movement variations, guys. I really challenge you to expand your movement vocabulary and really, let me know, like, if you're listening to this, like, let me know, do you want to work on your splits, your handstand, your back bend? Are you interested in the calisthenic skills? Like, I'm really interested in the front lever, the back lever, not so much. I'm really interested in the straddle plunge. And those are all really cool movements. And there's a reason why only so many people can do them. But I really challenge you to, even just like understand and take some time to learn how your spine works can really help you, get to that next level in terms of moving better. Like there's so much that can be done, and really think about it. Like, I'm trying to think of some other examples of exercises. Like, some things I do like are like safety bar squats, trap bar deadlifts. Farmers walks are really great because they gauge their core in a moving position. I really like, windmill exercises. There's so many good things that you can do in the gym that are going to be functional, but it really also comes down to just like not letting that 1 hour in the gym be the only time you're moving. Like, I really want you to do some mobility in the morning, do some in the afternoon. And even like if you're at the gym and you're training your upper body and you want to, you have some extra time between sets, that's when you can do a little movement flow and a little bit of movement exploration. Because what happens is when we master our body weight, we learn how to move the energy in our body. Whereas if we exclusively train with weights, we never really develop that ability and that skill. And what I mean by that is, energy gets clogged in the body, we get stiff, and, we need to let our muscles relax. But if we're just sitting at the desk all day, we need to learn how to move that energy to re-energize ourselves, to get, blood flow to the body, to the tissues, into different areas. So we really want to, to take that time and to learn how to develop control through the body. So I know this was a little bit of a rant here. I'm going to try to share some examples of exercises, both in the newsletter. If you haven't signed up for my newsletter, the link will be in the show notes below, as well as on my Instagram page at Deskbound Therapy. I'm going to be talking about this theme a little bit more, and it's very new to me, but I'm going to be kind of expanding it out. And I'm going to be having some other guests on the platform to talk about, how to, make progress in the gym without destroying your body and killing yourself every day, and really focusing on learning to move well and move better, because really that's what it comes down to. Thank you so much for listening. If you're a desk-bound lifter who's looking to improve their posture and their mobility in the next 12 weeks so they can train pain-free, send me a message. I have a few spots open for my October and November cohorts for my 12-week mobility group coaching program. I'm not kidding you guys. The clients in this program are getting incredible results. I get 3 messages yesterday. One guy said, dude, my sciatica pain is gone after 3 weeks. I have another guy in the program. He said his shoulder pain is gone on push-ups after just 1 week. And I have another guy who said he woke up for the first time in 10 years without feeling stiff or sore. And that is a huge win. So if you want to learn about the program, you want to kind of see if it's right for you, all you got to do is send me a message on Instagram at Deskbound Therapy saying 12-week mobility program, and we'll have a great chat. I'll hook you up with the deets, and I'll let you know more info from there. Thank you so much. Feel free to reach out if you have any other questions. Thank you so much for listening. The next episode is going to be episode 44 with Doc Jen Fit. You don't want to miss this one.